trying to see if there's some kind of alignment on those more fundamental values. But even then, the eliminations continued, often for that same reason. Let me guess. Teeth. You got it. The guy who didn't get picked at the end thought maybe it was because he wanted kids soon, and she was focused on fitness. The point is, her reason for popping his balloon, teeth. Unbelievable. Teeth. It's almost comical how consistent it is. And the final guy, the last one standing, she admitted feeling some attraction. Welcome to the deep dive. My name is Marvin Kane. I don't really consider myself a relationship coach. I'm just an older guy that reacts to various situations that I see on some of the popular dating shows and some of the experiences that both men and women have regarding how they relate to one another. I like to pay attention to their body language. I like to kind of read what their clothing says, things they may not even be thinking about, which causes so much trouble within society. So I'm just trying to be insightful. I'm not a know-it-all. I don't have all the answers. I'm not a guru. I'm just a guy who's reacting to what I see. So we decided to give our reactions an upgrade. Now, you probably have heard that Pop the Balloon or Find Love has been suing many of the content creators, trying to take away their profits, their earnings. Now, fair use means that, if you put something up publicly, which is like a video, and someone wants to talk about it, just like you would with your friends or family in your home, that's considered fair use in the simple sense of the term. And that's pretty much what reactors have done. Reaction videos are pretty much about just talking about what they see. Now, I'm not here to debate whether that's right or wrong. I've had over 65 copyright complaints sent to me and my company personally, and I've disputed them all, and I've won all my claimants, and they've all been released. But through all that, I've learned something. What would an expert say about my channel, my reviews? I hear a lot of comments from you guys, and I really appreciate it. But what would a reactor say about someone reacting to the reactions of others on their own show? And that is the basis for what you're about to see. We're going to show you the reactions of commentators to the reactions of me and my overviews. I think it's going to be interesting. So I'm Marvin Kane, the older guy. I'm playing commentator number one, and I'm also playing commentator number two. So this should be a lot of fun. I really want your feedback. Tell me what you think. We're going to go ahead and get into it now. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Welcome to the deep dive. We do the digging through the resources. We pull out the key stuff so you can get informed fast. And today we're going to be jumping into, well, the world of dating shows, but through a specific lens. Exactly. Our mission here is to really unpack a YouTube reaction video. It's by Marvin Kane. He's a relationship coach. Right. And he's watching the dating show No Love Found When the Balloon is Popped. So we're going to pull out his takes, his advice. Yeah. We've got the transcript of his reaction. And he really goes deep into the first impressions, how people talk to each other, and gives his own, dating advice along the way. And he uses clips from the actual show. It's worth noting. This is fair use commentary, critique, educational, yeah, man, important point. Specifically looking at things like how people dress, body language, even conversation skills, in a dating context. And Marvin Kane himself, he's quite the character, an older guy, relationship coach. Yeah, maybe brutally honest, but witty too. And actually pretty insightful. He doesn't really hold back sometimes. No, definitely not. And the show itself, No Love Found When the Balloon is Popped, the premise is like super simple. One woman, 10 guys, each with a balloon, right? She just pops the balloon of anyone she's not feeling. It's fast, very fast elimination. So this deep dive, it's really about extracting Marvin's key observations, the advice he gives while watching this whole thing go down. Think of it as kind of like a shortcut to his view on attraction, dating dynamics, all that stuff. Okay, so let's dive in. Those first moments, first impressions, Marvin jumps right on that. He really does. Joy, the single woman, walks in. What did Marvin pick up on immediately? Like just from her entrance. Well, he noticed her walk first off. said it was purposeful, and that she looked, neat, put together. Her outfit was casual, but showed some skin. Okay. Marta's interpretation was that she was kind of signaling where she wanted the guy's attention to go. Ah, interesting. So right away, he's reading into the visual presentation. Totally. He's quick with those judgments. Yeah. He also noticed she seemed a little nervous, like fumbling with the microphone slightly. Oh, yeah. What did he make of that? He kind of deduced from that she really wants this to work out well for her, that she was genuinely invested. It's amazing how much you can glean from those little nonverbal cues, right? Yep, absolutely. Then he talked about her tattoos, her posture. Uh-huh. He felt she was deliberately showing off her upper body, like highlighting that she's fit. And he even mentioned the band around her stomach. What about it? He saw it as a sort of telling a story, like self-acceptance. This is me kind of vibe. Wow. Okay, he's layering quite a bit of meaning into just the visuals for sure. Yeah. Which leads us into the first eliminations. The balloons pop. Jody pops Joy's balloon first. Right. And his reason was vibes. Yeah, something about her being in the clubs. Basically, Marvin seemed a little bit unimpressed with that reason, honestly. And Joy was polite, but definitely corrected him. Says she likes going out, but not necessarily to clubs. Clubs. Okay, fair enough. Then there's Derek. His balloon didn't get popped initially. Nope, he liked her height, liked what she said, wanted to hear more. Pretty standard stuff. But then she popped his later. Right. What was her reason? The nose ring. She said basically it wasn't her thing at our ages. Oh, okay. So personal style, maybe even age-related expectations coming into play. Really fast. Definitely. And right after that elimination, Marvin jumped back and with some thoughts on Joy's own outfit. Ah, yes. What did he say about that? I remember he had a take. Yeah, he did. He felt like she was, quote, hiding something, and that the outfit felt like she was overcompensating, which made him curious about what might be, underneath all that, metaphorically speaking. That's quite a critique based on just clothes. Yeah, that's how much weight he puts on appearances, communication. It really does. Then Jamal's balloon stayed safe. He just wanted to hear more. Simple. Okay. And John also survived the first round. He said he found her attractive and perceived her stable, like emotionally and mentally. Sounds positive. So why did she pop his eventually? His outfit? She literally said it was too tight. Wow. Another outfit critique from her. Yeah. And Marvin totally latched onto that. He basically said, see, men need to pay attention to how they dress if they want to attract women. So for Marvin, that visual first impression, including clothes, is massive. It's huge. It seems like it sets the stage for everything else. It really gets interesting how they start asking questions, though. Okay. Yeah. The next big segment Marvin analyzed was their answers to what did your father teach you? Let's start with Simon. Simon's answer was about controlling emotions, using logic over reaction, and also dressing well. Ah, dressing well again, right? Marvin loved that. He summed it up as a dress to impress. Nice ties right back into his earlier points. Seems like that resonated. It did. So, even a simple question can show if your values line up. True. Okay. Then there was the guy Marvin called support too. Yeah, based on his social media, right? His answer was about having multiple father figures and learning integrity, being a man of his word from them all. How did Marvin react? Oh, he did not like that answer. Not one bit. Really? Why not? He called it a messed up answer. Said the guy didn't answer the actual question about his father. Felt like he was dodging. Okay. So Marvin values directness. Yeah. He basically said Joey should pop his balloon for that. Very blunt. Shows he expects people to be straightforward. Gotcha. What about, yeah, he had a different situation, didn't he? He did. Said his father died when he was young. So instead, he talked about teaching his young daughters, his own daughters, leadership and about building generational wealth, through his actions. And Marvin's take on that, much more positive. Called him a nice guy. Seemed to respect how he reframed it to talk about his own values as a father now. So the way you answer, even if the situation's different, can reveal character that Marvin appreciates. Exactly. Then there was Zachary. What did his dad teach him? Tough love and the philosophy, if you don't work, you don't eat. Really emphasize needing to want it. Be prepared. How did that land with Marvin? Seems like he appreciated the practicality, the self-reliance aspect. He fits that kind of no-nonsense vibe Marvin often has. He seems to value drive. Makes sense. And lastly, Eric's was super simple. Pay your bills on time. Uh-huh. Okay. Straight to the point. Yeah, Marvin had a little chuckle. Compared him to Eddie Murphy. It was brief. So Marvin's overall feeling about this round of answers, he generally thought that they were kind of crazy answers. Like maybe many didn't really reveal much depth or connect well. Interesting. So the takeaway is really think about your answers. Even to simple questions, they say a lot. Absolutely. They offer these little windows into your values, your background. Okay, next question. What's something you've accomplished that you're proud of? How'd that go? Right. The first guy's answers, Marvin was critical, wasn't he? The guy talked about being a man in his career and race. Yeah, Marvin questioned if that was really an accomplishment and a sense of personal effort or achievement. He wanted something more concrete, driven by the individual. So again, focus on tangible achievements, things you did. Seems like it. Then the second guy mentioned working internationally for a company, but he sounded a bit hesitant. Yeah, Marvin picked up on that, didn't he? Said he lacked confidence. Exactly. Marvin felt that uncertainty suggested maybe not strong leadership qualities, which he assumed Joy would want. Reading into the delivery as much as the content, definitely. Then the third guy talked about helping his mom build a house in Liberia and also being a personal trainer. How did that go over? Oh, interesting. So different things click for different people. Totally. Shows how varied interests can spark something. And what about Joy's own answer to that question? Good point. What did she say? She was proud of moving to Dallas with her son and building a good life. Thriving there. Okay. A personal story of resilience. Building a family life gives more insight into her. Right. Then we get back to the eliminations. The guy who gave the crazy answers earlier, his balloon was still there. Yeah, that was a reason for not popping. He just said he was attracted and wanted to hear more. Joy popped it anyway. And her reason, lack of leadership and his teeth. Ah, the teeth again. It's becoming a pattern. Seriously, then the guy Marvin called the teeth person, his balloon was also still inflated initially. He said he wanted to hear her out, even if she wasn't his usual type, maybe. But she popped his too. Reason, teeth. Wow, okay. So that's clearly a major non-negotiable thing for her. Even if it seems small to others, it really drove that point home. Which brings us to the final round of questions, trying to get a bit deeper, right? What kind of things did they cover? Then Joy asked about handling conflict. She says she needs time to process, but wants resolution before bed. Acknowledge women can be emotional. Okay. Trying to gauge conflict style, compatibility. What else? Ask about family background. The guy she spoke to had a two-parent, still married upbringing and a one-year goal. Joy wants to run a marathon. And she confirmed she's affectionate. So, digging into relationship dynamics, future plans, personality. Yeah, definitely trying to see if there's some kind of alignment on those more fundamental values. But even then, the eliminations continued, often for that same reason. Let me guess. Teeth. You got it. The guy who didn't get picked at the end thought maybe it was because he wanted kids soon, and she was focused on fitness. The point is, her reason for popping his balloon, teeth. Unbelievable. Teeth. It's almost comical how consistent it is. And the final guy, the last one standing, She admitted feeling some attraction, but ultimately popped his balloon. 2 reasons. Yeah, my concerns and drum roll. I feel you, especially the teeth. Okay, so teeth were basically the ultimate gatekeeper for her. Pretty much seems that way, which leads us nicely into Marvin's final wrap-up thoughts and his advice. He had some strong words about Joy, right? Oh yeah, he didn't mince words. Said she's far from perfect herself. Even commented on her appearance. Went pretty hard. Actually said something like, there must be something demented in her mind to focus so much on teeth when she's not perfect either. Wow, that's blunt. But it reflects his view that you should maybe check yourself before judging others so harshly on specifics. Exactly. He also wasn't overly impressed with the men's overall thought. It wasn't the best group. But the main reoccurring point was that fixation on teeth, even when Marvin and probably viewers couldn't see anything obviously wrong. Right. So, what was his core advice stemming from that? Basically, stop focusing on so much of the superficial stuff like teeth. Look for character, shared values, common ground, and deeper stuff. He gave her credit for overlooking height sometimes. But just couldn't understand the teeth thing being such a wall. Yeah. And then he finished his video asking for feedback, right? Yep, asked for comments, wanted to know how he could improve his reactions. His advice for people looking for love. Standard YouTube call to action. Subscribe, share, all that. Okay, let's try and pull this all together. What are the big takeaways from Marvin's reaction? This deep dive into his perspective. Well, first, definitely the power of first impressions. How to dress. How to carry yourself. Marvin thinks that sends huge signals right away. Yeah, they came through loud and clear. Second, how answers to even simple questions can reveal a lot about character, values, perspective, or lack thereof. In some cases, you pointed out true, but maybe the most surprising thing was seeing just how much weight a seemingly superficial detail, in this case, teeth, can carry for someone making dating choices. It became a non-negotiable filter. It really highlights that contrast, doesn't it? Marvin's pushing for focusing on deeper character traits. While Joy, in this instant at least, seemed really guided by those initial visual cues and these very specific, almost peculiar preferences. Yes, you think? Definitely. And that kind of brings us to a final thought for you, the listener. Yeah, when you think about dating or connections, what are your non-negotiables? Are you superficial? Are you a deep thinker? Yeah. And is it possible you might be overlooking potential great connections because you've zeroed in on some initial judgment or detail that seems minor in the grand scheme? It's worth pondering that balance, that maybe aren't immediately observed. Having standards versus being open to possibilities that maybe aren't immediately obvious, that might lie under the surface, something that you want. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this pilot episode of a different way that we're looking to encourage and help people to think about their dating patterns. If you like what you heard, put it in the comments. If you didn't like what you heard, put it in the comments. We also, if you notice, had a link to the actual video where we did this video audit. So definitely hit the subscribe button, help us to grow our channel continuously. And we thank you for watching. And then, as always, remember this.